Hey, pick 'em pie, big gun Brian Petrie, giving out the lot. One is mortal, you know it won't miss. Gonna take a shot, dog lock, that's the underdog. Yeah, they in the hunt, send them home, that's KO or submission. Yeah, somebody done, slime ball, yeah, that's the parlay. We gon' make it known. Pick 'em pie from MMA takes, yeah, let's get it going.
Baby, we got a special one today. Do not adjust your phones, TV, might even be listening to audio. Don't take your headphones out. We have the team behind 3PC, what I've been hyping up forever, what I've been talking about forever. They're going to give us some answers that I'm not smart enough to answer, because this is going to be a game changer for MMA community, the MMA people, the fighters, the fans, everything. I'm super excited to have them here. We have Russ, aka Russell, and Andrew, the team behind 3PC. Boys, thank you so much for being on. Thank you for thinking of me about this an amazing product we're about to unleash on the masses, and it's so good to have you guys here.
Good to be here, BP.
Awesome.
Excited.
Awesome. You guys are the best. So just to give a little backstory of these guys real quick, is they're both just hardcore MMA fans. And they're like, we got to do something about this. We got to change the game. And these are the guys that change the game. Because, again, we don't want just some big company coming in here. Because MMA, even though it's blowing up huge, obviously it's a huge sport, there's still some real small niche people in there that are hardcore like me, tons of other people like you guys. So it's really cool that we're going to beginning to have a community for those people and for beyond as well, not to mention the fighters that we're going to have come along, and it's going to benefit just everybody. So my first question, I'm going to dive right in. What inspired you guys to build 3PC? Like what was the I think I know the story, but let's for everyone to know, we'll go with Russell, and then we'll kick it to Andrew. What do you guys, what inspired you to start this and really want to launch this thing that we're about to launch, or launch week right now?
Yeah, thanks again, first of all, for having us on the show, BP. I've been a long-time listener of your podcast, nice, as well as pretty much all the pods, being a very long-term MMA fan. I think the first UFC event that I saw live was actually UFC 5. So that's crazy. Like how far back we've been thinking about MMA. But, this idea was kind of born out of necessity first, right? Like I won't name any names, but, going back 5 or 6 years, I'd been a really regular participant in one of the online forums where MMA is regularly discussed, as a fan, talking about everything from what my lean might be on a particular matchup to like what we thought the rankings should look like to, what fighters training camps were doing new and exciting things in terms of how they prepped for fights. And all of a sudden, the parent company of this destination pretty much like ruined the experience for the fans that regularly posted in this forum. They completely reworked the user interface primarily so they could flood it with ads to create an additional revenue stream. And, people started complaining constantly within the forum that it was like unusable. So as someone who comes from a technical background, most of my career has been spent in typically venture-funded, high-growth, kind of like tech-forward businesses. I just thought, hey, it wouldn't be that difficult to, make a call to a developer friend of mine, give them some direction and just like spin up an alternative for me and, the 100 or so regular posters on this forum that I'd kind of become friends with over a year. So we had an alternative to go and talk fights in, right? And, not long after originally thinking about that, it became a little bit broader of an idea in my mind, started thinking about how, the economics of mixed martial arts are very different than a lot of other major sports, right? And it's really important, especially for fighters earlier in their career who are on the come up, to be thinking about how they can, really maximize additional streams of income outside of what they're making just for showing up at a fight or showing up and winning a fight, right? So had some ideas. Andrew and I, coincidentally enough, were meeting up in Miami for UFC 314, as we've been known to do here and there over the years whenever our schedules can align. we got to talking about things, and that's when the idea started to pick up a little bit more steam and become bigger than, kind of a personal solution to a problem that I encountered.
Awesome.
So when we were down in Miami and Russ said, hey, listen, I have an idea. And basically he filled me in on up to that part of the conversation. And he said, all right, let me pitch you on this idea. And the more we got kicking things around, it really started to click in my head as just saying, man, like there really isn't that place of real community for MMA fans, for the real fans. And the more we got to thinking about that connection between fans and fighters and what happens if we get this ecosystem in a place where it's just a really fun environment for everybody to connect and have that sense of community in, the wheels really got turning, and it became something pretty quickly, right? That's only 8-9 weeks ago, and we've been full steam ahead since then. We've jumped into full development, and as you know, BP, you've seen some of the behind the scenes stuff here, getting ready to launch here this week. It's just been super exciting. It's been a fun ride so far, and I can't be more excited to get your community involved here, and let's build something super cool together.
Absolutely. And before it even launches and before anything even happens, I just want to say, I'm going to speak for the MMA community and already thank you guys for doing this. I love two hardcore fans going, you know what? We need a place, because the best thing about doing this show, even before I got the Anik gig, was I made some really cool connections. Some hardcore fans are like, hey, I had 200 listeners, and a couple of guys are like, dude, you're awesome. And then it opened dialogue and we created a bond. Like, now these guys when I met them, they were single. Now they got 2 kids and married. Like, that's really cool that I've have a friend that I care about through just my love of MMA. And I think that's really cool. The MMA community, I think we all support each other. If I see someone out in Cincinnati, it's Cincinnati. It's not a bubbling hotspot for MMA. We definitely have some local shows and stuff, but we don't have a ton of fighters coming out of here anymore. But if I see someone with a UFC shirt on, or any kind of shirt that represents, I'm dapping them up. You know what I mean? I'm not that guy. I keep to myself in public, but if I see you with the UFC, like I saw the guy the other day, UFC Columbus shirt on, just a generic, when they came to Columbus, I was at that show. I bumped them up, say, what's up, man? And that's going to be 3PC in a whole, is we're going to have a community of people commenting, chatting, interacting with your own, right? And everyone has a different opinion. Everyone has a good opinion, bad opinion. But if it's a strong opinion and you believe in it, that's really cool too, because disagreements people think are negative. I think they're spirited. I think they're warranted. I think they're wanted. I'm a guy who I'm not stuck in my ways. I'm not super opinionated. I can change my mind on things. And I think that's the beauty about sports is, 10 years ago, if you asked me who the pound for pound fighter was, or at least MMA pound for pound fighter was, my answer would be different, right? 10 years ago, 15 years ago was Fedor, right? Fedor, oh, he's the best. Now he doesn't get talked about. So it's fun having these spirit debates and being a part of the community for so long. And now we're adding to it, because to me, there's no, as a hardcore fan, take my part out of the 3PC alone, there's not many places for us to go anymore that isn't swamped by ad revenue. I mean, I'm not going to name a company, but there's a company or a website I go to that I look up fighter records or whatever, and it just slapping me in the face with ads, and it's impossible. And they're like, oh, all you got to do is sign in and become a member. Well, I've done that, right? And I'm still getting smacked in the face. So I love the idea when I sat down with you guys, and I really, truly, honestly cannot wait for this to take off. And my second question is going to be, I touched on it with the website I went to, and there's obviously very known websites that have forums, that have communities. What makes it different from other MMA communities, or just what is it like, cause like, I got guy going DM me and goes, so it's like Reddit, right? And I'm like, well, wait till you listen to the show on Monday. So what is going to separate 3PC from Reddit, from comments on Instagram, etc.? And I'll let, I guess I'll go with Andrew first, and we'll kick it the rest.
Russ, you want to jump in?
Yeah, hop in, Russ. There you go, Russ.
No worries. So, look, I think, first of all, I'll start with the people involved are all incredibly passionate about MMA. This isn't like a media conglomerate that decided to launch an MMA community. And part of the origin story that I actually forgot and left out was a conversation that I had with Kenny Florian. It was a part of my research as a business person about the potential for an initiative like this, discussed some of the ideas that we had with him. He was really excited about them, to the degree that we can now officially announce that Kenny is associated with Three Punch Convo.
Yeah, Ken Flow,
MMA industry liaison. We're super excited to have him. And Kenny is actually, to BP's listeners, how we and BP became connected. He made that introduction for us, and we've had a lot of great conversations since. He's going to be helping connect us with a lot of people in the industry, whether fighters or journalists or TV personalities who we want to have involved in this thing. And just building upon that great group of people who are involved, we're lucky enough to be working with a really awesome development team. Shout out to Nick, to Alex, and to Mary, who are probably developing away as we speak, putting the touches on the platform for our this weekend. I think people using the platform are going to see an interface that's just incredibly simple and intuitive to use from a user perspective. It's going to be really fun. Everything is going to be, kind of mirroring the life and journey of fighters as they wind up pursuing a path up the ranks. So as a user, you'll be able to climb the ranks from amateur to hopefully GOAT one day if you reach that status.
I'm coming for that GOAT spot. I'm coming for that GOAT spot, Russ. I'm telling you right now, I'm coming for it, people.
Yeah, and when I pass the baton, Andrew can talk a little bit more about how that ranking is actually derived, because there's like a mathematical formula behind it that we're working on. And then beyond that, I just think that it's important to call out the fact that in trying to make this as fun a place as possible, we're going to be heavily moderating the forums. There's a no assholes allowed policy, right? We don't want people as a part of this community who are making fun of fighters' families or telling somebody that they're going to, come after them because they lost a $100 parlay, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of the ways that this will be different and very fighting to fighters as well.
Yeah, and I think you touched on a lot of things, but the core element here is this is built from the ground up for the MMA community, for the fans, for the fighters, for everybody involved, as opposed to there are great platforms out there, right, and great social media tools, right, but none of these were built for MMA and with MMA and MMA fans in mind. And so I think you'll notice right off the start, the way that we're building is just going to support everything about what we're doing. And so Russ alluded to Fight Cred. I think that's just a super cool system to kind of let fans earn points for the knowledge that they have, right? It's the interactions that they're having when they're able to throw points out there that really are salient and insight into the conversations, right? They're going to be earning Fight Cred points, and that's going to stack rank everybody together. And I know BP, you're going for that GOAT status, so you'll be going up against everybody. So that's that's just one of the examples of how this is built from the ground up, and everything is about the community that we're building here.
Yeah, and I loved you guys shout out your development team, because I've seen some screenshots and some videos of the website in action, and it is so buttery smooth. I can't explain to you how a guy who's always on his phone, who's always on the internet, seeing something that's going to be so intuitive and easy to use without having to jump through loopholes. I mean, listen, the guy that compared to Reddit, sure, you can compare it to Reddit, but you also can compare a Lambo to a Ford Fiesta. Yeah, they're both cars, but they're going to operate and perform differently, right? I think Reddit has its place, and it's for MMA community. I follow every MMA thread. It's a mess. It's a jumble. This is going to be, and you, like you said, we're not dealing with assholes. There's too many assholes out here who lose a $2 parlay, and then they say hurtful things about a real person, a person who is just a human being that you don't think they wanted to win the fight either, guy. You know what I mean? I know we all lose our head when it comes to gambling, but there's so many people, and big name people out there too, that are on YouTube that do something similar to me, who say some outlandish things because a fighter loses and that they picked to win or even had money on it. I think that's just insanity. And I'm glad we're not going to tolerate that at 3PC. The one thing we touched on that I'm excited about to bring up even more, this is something that really hooked me, is because I'm fighters first, and I think fighters are a special breed. At one point in my life, I wanted to be a fighter. I trained for years. I'm close friends with a couple fighters who live that life, and It's not easy, right? It's not easy at all. So, one of the questions I want to have is, why should fighters be excited about joining 3PC?
Yeah, great question. And I think, I've been lucky enough to have some really cool conversations with fighters leading up to this point, and really just understanding their mindset and the things that they're dealing with on a day-to-day basis, right? These fighters are some of the coolest people around, right?
Yeah.
And they have awesome stories, and they want to interact with fans. And sometimes you're stuck on a platform that's just, it's open to all the masses, the super casuals out there, and the bots and trolls that are going to get on things. And like, while they're trying to make a point, all of a sudden they're getting barraged with all these trolls. And it really saps some of the energy out of connecting with the fans. And having this place to aggregate where the real ones are is just going to be, it's just going to lead to like so many cool interactions. And, obviously, that's one side of things, but for us, and always making sure that we're supporting the fight journey, and that's why 25% of revenue here is going to be going directly to the fighters, right? So every quarter we're going to be paying that out to the fighters, and it's important that we open up additional revenue streams outside the cage for these athletes, and supporting all the things and the costs that go on and are associated with things. So, yeah, those are a couple of reasons.
Love that.
Yeah, and BP, let me just also take this opportunity to tell the listenership that 3PC is awesome. At least we think it is. We hope everyone else is going to think it is as well. But it's not free, right? There is going to be a monthly subscription fee, small fee. For now, we're talking about probably $4.99 a month, with a reduced monthly rate if you pay up front for the year, albeit for your listeners, or the first 200 of which are signing up at 3 Punch Convo, which is just the number 3 and the word punch and the word convo.com. You can join the waitlist, and Andrew will explain later how you're going to receive a discount code to actually give you the first year of access for free for being a part of our beta launch this weekend. But generally speaking, this isn't going to be a free site, right? And we need to charge people to gather the type of income that will be partially distributing to fighters who are active on the platform, right, supporting their journey. And then also charging allows us to help fund some like really cool initiatives, one of which I wanted to speak about for a minute is the idea of robbery insurance, right? So I'm sure every one of your listeners has either watched a fight or bet on a fight, or if they're a fighter, maybe participated in a fight, even worse, when clearly the wrong side was given the nod, right? And what happens if there's a red stripe on the Wikipedia page? That fighter walks out hanging their head, despite the fact that they put in a really hard training camp and maybe had a great performance. So are we going to be able to overturn a decision? Absolutely not. But what robbery insurance is every now and then when we see something that we think is completely egregious, we're going to post a poll that all paying members of 3PC can vote on. And if 80% or more of our voting members think that decision was wrong, well, we're going to issue a robbery insurance payment to that fighter. And as we start to generate more and more revenue, that robbery insurance payment is going to increase. Just an example of one of the really cool things that we're going to do to help really engage the fighter community and support their journey. And I'll also say just about the monthly access fee helps to keep trolls out too, and people that are really not the types of folks that we want to be a part of this conversation, like within our tribe that you kind of alluded to at the top of the podcast, right?
Yeah. I love what Andrew said. Andrew, it just, I'm not a designer by any means, but it just lightning bolt my goddamn brain when you said 3PC, the real ones. Yeah, dude, this is where the real ones go, baby. I love that, man.
Yeah. And I'll just shout out, Russ mentioned there, the 1 year free for listeners here, those first 200 people. We already have a bunch of the crew here from your podcast already signed up. That's awesome. And just to be on the lookout on your email there. On Friday, you should be getting an email if I have exactly the instructions to take to get registered for that 1 year free and hop in and start using the platform with us. So we're super pumped here for this beta launch that's happening on Friday. And so if you haven't already signed up that wait list, 3punchconvo.com, sign up there and expect that email on Friday.
Yeah. So all that you said is going to be on the screen. The link will be in the bio, guys. Go
Sick.
hammer that, do that. And the one thing I wanted to bring up real quick, I just want to obviously thank you guys for approaching me. Thank you, Kenny Florian, for sending the introduction. Means a lot. I love Kenny. He's such a great dude. Meeting you guys, getting to know you guys. Again, another just added bonus of me doing this podcast of 5 years now, 500 episodes, doing it in starting off in my living room with a little cheap $20 USB mic while my daughter napped. And it sounded like I was recording in a bucket, to now being with amongst two really smart, caring guys who want to do something for the MMA community and the fighters as well. So we're going to be fighters first, fans first. And I love that. And then the one I want to thank you about is obviously approaching me, but on the site, there's going to be an MMA Takes podcast companion. So for that is special to me. So anything I talk about on the show, if I go on the show and go, hey, I think Parker Porter's the GOAT. You know what I mean? You can create a form and go, BP, you're out of your mind. What do you mean? Right? And I love that. Any bets you disagree with on me, we can talk about there, as well as a general MMA discussion. I mean, listen, MMA is there's no off season for MMA. There's always stuff going on, right? John Jones retired and he's in the news now more than ever. We have a lot to talk about, and that's going to be a great place to talk about with the real ones. And I can't wait. And I'm indebted to you guys as well for thinking of me and bringing me along here. So I just want to really give you guys a sincere thank you. I think this is going to be special. And everyone that's listening, watching, 3Punch Convo, 3PC, but 3punchconvo.com, please sign up. And then, first 200, you get a year for free after that, $5, and you get to talk with and enjoy, with your own kind, with your community, which I think is incredibly important. So, before we get to picks, you guys have anything like parting words? Did I miss anything, or did we cover everything?
Hey, I just want to say that the real GOAT is Brian Petrie, in my opinion. So, throwing a little bit of love back your way. I appreciate your support. It's been great getting to know you. Obviously, you've been putting your blood, sweat, and tears into this show for many years, and we're really honored and privileged that you saw something in us and our idea, and are as excited about partnering with 3Punch as we are about partnering with the MMA Takes podcast.
Thank you, Russell.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Yeah, ditto.
Yeah. All right. So we got a big fight card. So when you guys split, I'm going to break down the entire card. So I'm not going to tip my hand, but I know you guys are diehard MMA fans. Russell said he went to UFC 5, which that's dedication right there. My very first UFC that I ordered on pay-per-view was UFC 42, because funny enough, my teacher, he wasn't my teacher, but he taught at my high school. Rich Franklin fought. That was his debut in the UFC. So we all got together and ordered it. And I was kind of a fan, but I haven't missed a pay-per-view since. But since it is fight week, International Fight Week, and we're launching, do you guys have any like picks? Do you guys want to give out 1, 2 parlays? However you want to do it. Is there anybody jumping off the page to you?
Oh man, so many different directions you can go on this. I mean, it's a stacked card, right? And I probably have some commentary to give on any of the fights.
Sure.
Jumping out at right, there's some. I think that there's some value in some dogs, right? If you're thinking the dogs are going to be barking, there's certainly some value. I mean, just as recently as today, I think Royval is on the plus money side. Man, that's a hard fellow to bet against when you're getting plus money. That's probably the one I'm going to be eyeing up here and putting a little sauce on.
Ooh,
and obviously I love Josh Van and what he's doing, especially the last fight. But give me Royval with plus money.
I'm not going to say anything, but I just want to, I like that pick there, Andrew. Russell, what do we got, bud? You got anything hot, juicy? You going dog?
It's interesting because I'll preface my I'll give a three fight parlay here.
Ooh, okay.
I'll preface my parlay here by saying I don't encourage anyone to adopt my style of MMA betting.
Yeah,
we have a lot of similar leans to Andrew. I think we take certain similar things into account. So I definitely agree on the Brandon Royval pick. My style of betting is typically to only bet singles if they're pretty decent dogs, or to bet parlays that are more than, call it like plus 600 or 700. So,
okay.
I'm going to lose more often than I'm going to win, but like when I win, hopefully it's for a big enough hit that
you go.
Every 5 or 6 weeks is enough to stay positive. So this is, in my opinion, first of all, an incredibly exciting card. Second of all, a pretty tough card to pick and find good spots to get the money in. You know, if I was just talking about where I think the best likelihood of winning is, it's probably going to be Pantoja for all the reasons that, you know, every podcast that have already beaten up. So I'll just throw out there a 3-fight parlay, agreeing with Andrew on Royval as a dog. Additionally, Slava Claus as a dog. Penny. You know, people say that MMA math is not a good prediction of fight outcomes. I would love to debate that all day long, but I disagree.
Well, hey, there's a great place to debate that, Andrew Russell. There's a great place to debate that now.
Absolutely. I think that Slava Claus is a little bit more tactically sound. We look at what happened when they both fought Nas as a past opponent. McKinney got finished by him. Slava actually went to a draw with him, which is pretty impressive, especially given Nas's most recent performance. So to get a durable guy like that who just doesn't get knocked out at plus 144, when I think McKinney's only method to victory there is via knockout, it's hard not to put him in a parlay at plus 144. I love McKinney as well, so it isn't like a pick with my heart. It's just like number.
Playing the number, yeah.
Absolutely. And then the third one, so Royval, Slava Claus, and I'm going with a plus 220 dog of, let me try this pronunciation, Viviane Araújo.
Nice.
Kenny would nail it. Obviously.
Yeah, Kenny would nail it in his Portuguese.
And she's at plus 220. You know, Andrew and I have both had some pretty successful picks over the years where we're like fading the publicly popular choice. Sure. And I don't really understand why Tracy Cortez is such a big favorite in this fight. She hasn't been incredibly active. The best person she's beaten is Jasdovicius, who obviously is solid. But you look at the victories on the side of Viviane, and there's Karine Silva, there's Jennifer Maia, there's Andrea Lee, all legitimate opponents. So I have a feeling that fight is more like a pick'em, and the public popularity of Tracy Cortez is pulling people there. So that 3-fight dog parlay is going to be plus 1,300.
Ooh, okay.
I advise everyone only follow me if you have like a free bet sitting here.
Yeah, right. I have a buddy who I do the show with, Timbo. He hasn't been on the show a while. He just had a baby. Shout out Timbo. He's a guy that I'll give him a parlay, and it's a measly like plus 300. That's not good. He's 10-1 only, right? And he'll do like crazy ones like this person will knock this person out in 60 seconds or whatever. You know, that doesn't happen often. And if it doesn't win, he's like, come on, I can't win a bet. It's like, buddy, you're playing 20-1s. What do you want, man?
I need to meet this guy, BP.
Yeah, he's in. He signed up, and he's chomping at the bit, man. He's a great guy to have on your side. Very smart, very educated MMA fan. But yeah, he's just like, well, I can't win one. We have a group text. I'm like, 20-1 guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you go to a dog track, like, or a race track or horse track, are those 21 horses winning that much? I don't know anything about horse racing. I've only been once. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for being on the show, for introducing the audience to elegantly speaking about what you guys are behind. And I can't wait for it to launch and be a part of this, and everyone that's part of this show be a part of this. We're going to grow this thing. It's going to be big. Yeah, man, I don't know what else to say. I keep praising it for weeks now. I just want to get my hands on it and really show people like how great it's truly going to be. And thank you guys so much for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, BP.
Yeah, no, thanks so much, BP. And just one a parting word here too, as your listeners wind up, you know, getting that activation code that Andrew mentioned, we'll wind up sending out by email. And registering and participating in the forums. This is our beta launch, basically, right? So thank you, everyone who's primed to participate in that. You're going to see a few interesting names popping up in the forums during fight day, I'm sure. Not a ton of fighters in industry yet. We're actually talking to many more than we'll, you know, initially start being active in the forums. But over time, you'll see more and more people joining the fray here, and I think it will be exciting to follow the careers of and root for those people as we all continue to grow together as a community as well.
I love it. There's nothing better than seeing a fighter, grassroots fighter, coming off the Contender Series, and you've been with them from day one. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that instead of Contender Series, it can come from 3PC now, and it just another layer, another branch to really get fighter and fans behind fighters, and it's cool, man. It's really cool, man. I'm excited for it, and thank you guys again for thinking of me, asking me, let me be a part of this, and then hopping on my show. You guys are the best. I want you guys to come back on once we launch, maybe do a Q&A, maybe some more picks, whatever you guys want to do. We'll have fun. We'll do that one live. That way the audience can ask live and stuff like that. That's real fun. We usually have pretty good engagement on live fight night or live pick'em night. So it'll be fun.
Awesome. Thank you, Pete.
All right, boys. You're the best. I'll see ya.
See you, brother.
See ya. So that was the brothers who are the team behind. Let me figure this out. There we go. We got a big screen there. I'm going to take my name away. You guys know who I am. That was the brothers behind 3PC. Those are the ones that Kenny introduced me to Russell. He's like, hey, Kenny's like, hey, can I send this guy your info? Yeah, absolutely. And I talked to Russ, and I was like, yeah, this is it. And I've kind of alluded that to the guys on the show. I'm glad that I got to come on to explain it to me, because I get a little too excited, maybe ahead of myself, that maybe I'm not explaining myself well enough to people, and they're like, wait a second, like what is this again? Like, is this just like a form or something? In the basis sense, yes, but also so much more. And we're in beta launching this weekend. I can't wait. And those guys are first class, and they really, really, truly are. And I can't wait. We're gonna have so much coming. You know what I mean? Like I said it. I rewatched the show, the last show I did, where I got to announce it. And I said the word limitless like 16 times, like I'm fucking in a Bradley Cooper movie. This is limitless. I said it like 16 fucking. I'm like, find a new word, you ape, you dummy. Find a new word. But it's true. It is going to be limitless, and it's going to be such a fun thing, and an important thing. I think an important's a good word. I think it's going to be an important thing for the community, for the people, the fighters, and the hardcore fans. And I see, I'm not a visionary by any means, but I just see in the future, like, some really fun, cool things happening with fans, for fighters, and just everyone being a part of it, and this being an industry standard. You know what I mean? There's a lot of MMA, kind of in MMA, it's weird, right? Like, I'm not going to bash anybody. I'm not going to say anybody's names. Everyone gets upset when I say names, but it's almost like in MMA, you're kind of grandfathered in, right? If you're like, because like, all right, I'm going to name a name. You go back to like Mike Goldberg, right? The OG announcer for the UFC. You go back and listen to his commentary on fights with Rogan. It's objectively not good, right? It's objectively not good, right? The sport grew immensely when Anik took over, because Anik is the GOAT, right? And that's no disrespect to Mike Goldberg. He was loyal. He's a part of he should be in the Hall of Fame, I think. But if you really listen back, Mike Goldberg said the same tropes over and over again. But it's almost like in MMA, if you're the first one there, you're it. And there's a couple reporters out there that were first, and you're it, right? Like Nina Drama, who I have no problem with Nina Drama. She does her thing. It's very, she has her own niche, her own lane. She's got 1 million subscribers, 1 million followers, right? She's pretty. She does her bits, right? That's what she does, and she's very successful. People shit on her all the time. I don't get that. I think people are just shitting on her success. That's a woman who carved out something for herself, which I respect immensely. Now, though, if you look on YouTube or Instagram, there's so many pretty girls copying her, right? That's what it is, but they're trying to take over. But the thing is, it's not better than the original product. But if you're in MMA, you're first, you're there. This Punch Convo, 3PC, this is going to be better than anything that's been there before. The things that have been there before us have just kind of gone away. That haven't really been really relevant. And I think with this idea of adding a true community with fighters and the right people behind it, I'm going to say the word again. I'm going to say it again. Limitless. Fucking limitless. All right, let's get to some picks, though, Bob. Huh? What do you say? Nice little card. International Fight Week. Top heavy card, I think. Listen, I'm into the prelims as well. I'm into the prelims. I just got a text. Who's this? Oh, my buddy Austin, who lives down the street. Power just went out. My power went out last week. So it went out. God, so I'm getting derailed. I got to tell my power. I live in a cul-de-sac. So when you turn up my neighborhood, we're blocked off. It's all dead ends, right? It's just a we're separated from the main street, right? There's no way to, it's dead end, right? No outlet, bitch. But since I've been living here, when we move in? 2014, 9 years, almost 10 years we've been here. Our power's been out 20 plus times. When I live with my parents who live 10 minutes down the street, they live on a circle street, right? But it's open-ended. You can come in and go. The 20-something years I lived there, power went out once, maybe, on like a horrible storm. My power goes out all the time because all the transformers in here are old and trees hit them and blah, 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 all this shit. So my power went out at 7:30 one night last week. I went to my stepdad's. My wife came. It's hot, right? I had to go to work the next day, so my wife took the kids to my in-laws. They were in town to stay there because they got a real big house and stuff. I mean, they could have stayed with my dad, but they went to my wife's. They were doing something next day anyway. Anyway, I come home, I sleep, can't sleep. I'm hot. I got a fan on me all night. I can't sleep without a fan. Don't give a shit if it's a winter or whatever. I gotta have a fan on me, right? You know what I mean? You see these cool it. Didn't come back until 2 p.m. the next day. Brutal. And my buddy's dealing with it right now. He lives actually like 35 minutes away from me. So thank God I'm not dealing with that. But there's no storms. It's just hot. It's fucking hot, man. It's hot. If you saw my Instagram story yesterday, at work, I'm in a van. I drive a transit van with no AC. I brought a little temperature gauge that I have that my father-in-law who passed away, he left a bunch of tools to us. So we had this like temperature gauge. I brought that to work because I just wanted to show the wife what it is in that van. The van's no AC, no fans. The windows don't roll all the way down. And it's a fantastic vehicle because you can go on driveways, you can get on private drives instead of a big truck, right? A truck has 2 fans, though, and the door's open on the way. This, though, if you give it up in the summer, you ain't getting in the winter because the winter is nice and cozy, right? And it's a lot easier to drive in snow. Yeah. Anyway, brought a temperature gauge. Went right when my shift ended, right after I took that picture. I had 5 stops after I took that picture. Right when I ended, I did temperature 107 degrees in my van. 107. It was 95 outside with humidity, made it 107. Dude, it's just depressing. But let's get to some fights. I digress. Jackson McVeigh, he has a new opponent now because Cedric Dumas couldn't get his ankle monitor off. By the way, how the fuck does this guy in the UFC still? He's constantly in trouble outside the UFC, right? He's got personal problems outside the UFC. He's not good. And he's pull out fights. He pulls out of fights. This one might not be his fault. I don't know. It said the judge wouldn't take the ankle bracelet off or monitor off till Thursday. And the UFC's like, that's too late. So anyway, Jackson McVeigh plus 114 versus, how do you say this guy's name? Christopher Ewart minus 135. I'm actually surprised by the line here because this is going to move because so Christopher Ewart now is a minus 148. I looked up this guy. He's a brawler. He's not super technical. Both these guys I think are a little wild. They're not technical. They're making UFC debuts, a little green or whatever. But I think Jackson McVeigh, big, tall, long guy, I think he's going to get it done here. I'm starting the night off with a dog. Bow wow. Yeah, baby.
Hello? Okay, this is Dog.
Okay, there's a dog. Not my dog lock, but I'm going to go with Jackson McVeigh. Listen, I just think he's cleaner. He's got the longer strikes. He could get clipped here. Both these guys are kind of, should they be in the UFC? We got 6-0. We got 7-0. Very green, very aggressive. It's going to be probably a sloppy style fight if I had to guess, but I'm going to go with Jackson McVeigh. I'm going to go with the guy they originally wanted for Dumas. And then the guy that they had to get, right? And again, Ewart, his competition's not that great. I think he's a little sloppy in there. I think both guys can get sloppy, but give me the dog when we got a slop fest here. You know what I mean? Couple pigs in a trough. Give me the dog. I'll take Jackson McVeigh. All right, next up, Jonathan Jeets. I think it's Jeets. How do you say his name? Kenny would nail this. It's not Deets. It's Jeets. I think minus 325 versus Alvin Hines plus 260. I watched too much Alvin Hines footage over the weekend. Listen, he's a big, strong bear motherfucker. Record thin, competition thin. Yes, he's a heavyweight. Yes, they need heavyweights. He's 33. Let me pull him up here. Right, 7-0. He's 33, but he looks like an ex-girlfriend's dad I had who was a former Marine. Scared the balls off me. This guy does not look almost 6 years younger than me, in my opinion, but I do look like young. So, right, he's coming out of Minnesota. got a good wrestling background, but the last fight is the one that gets me. So he fought a guy in the LFA who was 4-1. Before that, he fought a guy named Junior Hicks, cool name, 2-0, then 3-4, 2-1, 3-0, 1-3, 2-1. Just very, he's easing his way into it, but he's a heavyweight. But the Billy Ray Valdez fight is the one that kind of put me. He landed. He won by head kick, right? He threw the head kick like 3 times around, right? That's something he's setting up. It's not the best looking head kick. It was slop. Billy Ray Valdez, who was tired, who was a young fighter, I should say, should have seen that coming. You know what I mean? Alvin Hines also, he mixes up some takedowns or whatever. His striking is very sloppy. He doesn't seem very powerful. He's dense. Kind of looks like Ron Waterman, the old school. You guys know who Ron Waterman? He looks like Ron Waterman. I'm not high on Janitz, though. I'm not really high on this guy. I think this guy could get exposed by a really good grappler. Problem is Alvin Hines, I think, is going to slow down. I think Janitz has been in there with some better competition. I think he knows everyone wants to take him down with his kickboxing record. -325 is steep. I don't know how I'm going to get there with him, but I do know how I'm going to get there. I'm going to play him by knockout. I'm playing by knockout, which I'm going to chase for you right now if it's available on DraftKings Sportsbook, and it is. Janitz by KO -135. I just think Hines, again, wide on the feet. Yes, he's going to want to wrestle, but I don't think he can wrestle for 3 rounds. I don't think he's going to finish Janitz on the guy. I think Janitz is going to make his way up to his feet and really punish this guy. And it just do me a favor. Go watch the Billy Ray Valdez fight. I mean, the head kick you can see coming. My daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, poor little girl, sick right now with a fucking what? Or she would have went and blocked it, or done the Fazeev pullback matrix shit. But most likely, because I see that coming every day. Billy Ray didn't. Billy Ray got slept with it, And no offense to Alvin Hines, +260 might be a good number because I do think the heavyweight on the other side is weak. It's a high number. Playing by knockout -135. All right, next up, Nico Price +1100. Yeesh, beesh. Versus Jacoby Smith -2100. 2100 for Jacoby Smith. Oh, man. So this is tough because Jacoby coming from Contender Series, won by knockout. And then he knocked out Preston Parsons as well. He's a good grappler. Jacoby has obviously shown some power in his fights. I believe is his dad? No, maybe. I was like, is his dad Elijah Smith? I don't know. Either way, Nico Price has been around forever, right? His chin, he's been knocked out before. He's been taken down quite a few times and has lost fights that way. And you don't know what you're going to get with Nico because Nico, he started his MMA career out pretty hot with some good knockouts, but there was some against weak competition. He's got long arms. He's got like 40 kids, so you know the guy's got energy, right? The +1100 staring at me. We got a Jacoby Smith coming in here who is overpriced to the max. I think he's a good fighter. I don't think he's great. He's 10-0. He's green. Experience all on Nico Price side. Cardio, Nico isn't a cardio machine, but he's been in there for 3 rounds with people before. He landed 108 strikes in this fight with, I just saw this, Alex Morono, who's another vet. He squeaked that one out. If he doesn't get absolutely knocked off his fucking feet, right, in the first round, I think Nico's live here. And I think the number's only going to get worse. He might have a rough first round. He might jump up to like +2100 or whatever. I'm going to go Smith because I'm a pussy, right? I'm not putting my nuts on the table. Bit of a bitch right now. I'm going to go Smith, right? Because I do believe in the young man's talents. I don't believe in him at -2100. So my pick is Smith. Come fight night, though. Come fight night. I might be looking at Nico Price at +1100, especially if I lose the first two fights, because I'm going to play Janitz by knockout. I'm going to play Jackson McVay by +114. If I lose the first 2 fights, I'm chasing. I'm chasing all goddamn day long, and I'm going Nico Price. That's a big dog number for a freaking vet, right? But I do think Jacoby Smith is pretty good. But man, that's just a big number. Taking Jacoby, but listen, I'll have to see on Saturday. +1100 is a big number. I would fucking love to hit 11-1, dude. I need it. I fucking need it. All right, next up, Slavikosh Borshev, +142 versus Terrence McKinney, -170. So this is going to be kind of an interesting pick for me because I'm picking McKinney because my green hammer, and I gave this out on the Anakin Florian. I have the number now. This is my green hammer play. Typically, I like to switch it up because I don't like to, I want to give different plays. However, this one stuck with me. It is a little bit lower than I thought. Green Hammer, right there up on the shelf, baby. Green Hammer, Terrence McKinney, round 1, sub, not by knockout, sub. I think Borshev's takedown defense gets a little bit better as he goes. He's obviously been working on it. I think the longer the fight goes, it obviously favors Borshev, Slavoklos, because Terrence McKinney cannot fight outside of round 1. He hasn't proven it. But Terrence McKinney is a motherfucker in that first round. And he's a good wrestler. And he can take your back and choke you out. And Borshev, that's easier said than done. But 380. Terrence McKinney, sub round 1 plus 380. I thought we're going to get close to 600 or 700. I'm a little disappointed in the price. But I'm already convinced myself. If Terrence McKinney doesn't get him out of that first round, go Slavoklos. This is a live betting spot here. Slava's durable, has good boxing, and I think obviously McKinney has literally proven he cannot fight outside round 1. He's a motherfucker in round 1. Maybe one of the best first round fighters there is. Chimaev, I think, is probably the best first round fighter. If every MMA fight was 1 round and they judged it, you can finish from round 1, Chimaev would be the best in the world. He might be the best in the world anyway, but he'd be the best in the world. McKinney would be in this division top notch, right? Maybe not the best in the world, but he'd be good. He's a really good 1-round fighter. I'm going McKinney, round 1 sub, plus 380. Round 1 sub, plus 380. That's the Green Hammer. But after that, run for the fucking hills. Hop on Slavoklos, because I think he'll take it. Hopefully you get him at plus money. Hopefully he gets dominated the first round and somehow survives and then goes out there and flatlines McKinney, because McKinney will be tired. He has some chin issues. He has some control issues as well. He's a young guy, but not young enough to kind of he can't adopt the new skin. He is who he is right now. And so give me McKinney round 1, sub plus 380. Everyone's going to take him. I mean, everyone's going to take him by knockout. I feel it, but I'm going sub. All right, next up, females. Hey, some ladies. Tracy Cortez, minus 250 versus Viviana Araújo. She is a plus 205. A lot of people like Araújo in this fight. You heard Russ before this. He liked Araújo. He didn't understand the hype around Cortez. I think Cortez is a good fighter. I think she has some good wrestling chops. I think she's tough. But is this another Paige Van Zandt thing, right? Because Paige Van Zandt, when she was in the UFC, they matched her up, right? And she started losing. But after she started losing, she also started modeling a little bit. I think this before OnlyFans. She was everywhere. They put her everywhere. She's pretty. Tracy Cortez is in a ton of commercials. She's getting sponsored on Instagram. She's making a ton of money outside the UFC. It's just one of these things where, like Gina Carano kind of did the same thing way back in the day. All of a sudden, people were like, "Holy shit, she's hot. Let's put her in movies. Let's put her the face on things." Tracy Cortez is that kind of level. Is she a fighter's fighter or is she not? Because Araújo's, listen, I'm not going to knock on the girl's looks, but she's not Tracy Cortez. Is she getting the same opportunities as Cortez? I don't know. I'm going to stick with my gut and go Cortez. I think Araújo fights at a pace that I don't like. She makes people fight at her own pace, and when a fighter doesn't fight at her own pace, that's when she gets lost. I think Cortez has better wrestling than Araújo. I think her stand-up is pretty good as well. I also think Cortez has been in some really close fights with some good females. She's undefeated for a while. She's got some good wins on her record. I'm going to go Tracy Cortez, even though it goes against my Paige Van Zandt theory. I wouldn't be surprised if she loses. It's a great number on Araújo. I understand why Russ took her. Play the number, baby. But I'm going to go Tracy Cortez minus 250. I know chicks. Am I going to bet this? Probably. Cortez by decision. I'm not going to run to the window right now. I'm not going to run to my phone and place the bet. What is Cortez by decision? All right. So the over 2.5 is 720. Steam to the fucking gills. So Cortez the win by decision minus 225. Yeah. So I probably won't play it. That's only 25 cents less than fucking her money line number. Vegas is all over. This is a huge card, International Fight Week. They're all over all the props. They're over everything. They're getting a lot of action right now, and they're over everything. All right, next up, Hyder Emil, plus 130 versus Jose Delgado, minus 155. Really clean fight here. Really good fight. You got a guy in Delgado who's clean, who does have some good wrestling, has some good jiu-jitsu, and is a finisher, is a killer in it, right? He's elite. But then you got Hyder Emil, who's just a dog. This dude is an animal in there, right? It's like a more skilled young Tony Ferguson, right? where, yeah, Tony might be outskilled. He might be, but he's not going to fucking stop. And he's not going to get tired. And that's what Hyder Mill is. I think Hyder Mill has more skills than Tony Ferguson. I always thought Tony was a little bit sloppy, but he's got the same mentality. He's getting after it. And I think Delgado, who is very clean, is dangerous, right? I love this fight, by the way. I love this fight. I think he's going to get worn down by a Mill. I like a Mill a dog here, baby. I like a Mill a dog plus 130. I love that. I think it's going to go to decision. I think it's going to be super close as well because I think a Mill is going to push that pressure. He's going to land some takedowns. He's also going to take some shots. Guy's got a fucking chin on him for days. Delgado might get a little tired. It's going to be an all-out fucking war. If it's not, Delgado dog walks, right? So if you're on the Delgado side, I think you're okay. But there's something in me that tells me Hyder Mill is just gonna fucking bite down that mouthpiece. Go forward, take a million shots. The dude's gonna break both. Delgado's gonna break both his goddamn hands on his head, and that's when he takes over, Homer Simpson style. I'm not disrespecting Hyder Mill. I don't think he's Homer Simpson. I think he's a really skilled guy who has some finishing abilities on his own, right? But his toughness and his cardio is what separates him, in my opinion. I think he's with a good team in the scrap pack up there. You don't hear much about Gilbert Melendez and those boys up in San Francisco anymore. But Gilbert Melendez, I'm telling you, he will, in the years coming, San Francisco is kind of, I don't know how many people want to live there right now. I'm not getting political or whatever. I've heard stories, and it's not to mention super expensive. But Gilbert Melendez will become a prominent MMA coach if he wants to be. I think he's got a good mind for it. He's cornered a lot of elite fighters, and he's creating fighters his own, and Hyder Mill is one of them. I keep saying Hyder Mill, excuse me. Getting it done, plus money, let's go. Going back-to-back dogs here. Let's jump right in. Jack Hermansson, plus 170 versus RoboCop Gregory Rodriguez, minus 205. I'm going Hermansson. We haven't seen him in a while, but I broke this down in the Yank and Florian. I think Rodriguez is very dangerous, and I've never picked Rodriguez. I picked Brad Tavares to knock him out. Brad Tavares has been in the UFC for 35 years. Has maybe 2 knockouts. And I picked him to knock out RoboCop because RoboCop's chin is chinny, but what a bad pick by me. What a just horrible pick by me. I wear my bad picks. I don't run from him. But I've never been high on RoboCop. I think he's powerful. I think he's decent on the ground. His boxing is good, but only when he's within your range. His arms aren't super long. He's an okay kicker. He moves really well as well, but Hermansson can frustrate you with his movement. Hermansson's in and out. He knows how to deal with a power puncher. Look at this Joe Pyfer fight. Even look at this Chris Curtis fight. Chris, I wouldn't classify him as a power puncher. He's more of a combination puncher. But the Chris Curtis fight, he completely, out footwork Curtis and frustrated him, right? And stayed away and poke shot and landed some good head kicks. He did the same thing with Pyfer. It was a learning lesson for Pyfer. And Pyfer is a power puncher like Rodriguez. Rodriguez needs you to be in his space, in his range, where he's coming up empty. I think Hermansson is crafty enough on the feet. He's got great cardio. He's not going to slow down. He's going to pick Gregory Rodriguez, pick him apart on the feet for 3 rounds, I think. I don't see a finish happening. I mean, both these guys have been knocked out, so of course something could happen. Hermansson is a good size 85er, but it's not like he's known for like worldly power. He's good on the ground. I think both these guys are going to wash on the ground. I think Hermansson's better, but I don't think Rodriguez is a chump on the ground either. Give me Hermansson. Give me the dog at plus 170. Let me see if it's still 170 or if this is moving at all. Plus 170 for Hermansson still. I love it. Take it. Back-to-back dogs. Take my money, man. Or not. Or I'll take your fucking money. Okay? All right? That's what I'm saying. Okay. A little water. A little water hurt nobody. All right. Next up, we got Peyton Talbot plus 154 versus Philippe Lima minus 185. So I want to get ahead of this and congratulate myself. A pre-congratulations. Yeah, I'm modest, clearly. I'm not going to make any Frank Ocean jokes. I did it on the Anakin Florian. I had one in my head ready in the chamber for Peyton Talbot because I believe he might be dating Frank Ocean. There's nothing funny about that. You can be gay. Who cares? It's just rare that we see a gay MMA fighter. There hasn't been a ton of them. Not saying Peyton Talbot's gay. Don't know. But that's the rumor, right? So I'm not going to make a Frank Ocean joke. It wouldn't be homophobic. It would just be a pun on Frank Ocean lyrics, who I actually quite enjoy. I like his music. He hasn't put out anything in a while, but his early stuff was good, right? I'm not going to do that. So congratulations to me. Other people are going to do that. Other idiots out there are going to do that. Other non-open-minded people are going to do that. Not your boy. Not your boy. It's easy. It's low-hanging fruit. Not going to do it. What I am going to do, though, is pick against him because I'm high on Felipe Lima. I think Lima, Brazilian-born, trains in Sweden, all-star gym. That's where Chimaev came from. They got killers. Gustafsson's still there. Obviously, he's not active, but he's there. His experience is there. This dude's a killer, right? And let me rephrase that. He's a killer in the making because he's 14-1, which is a great record. But I think there's another level to him. His wrestling is good. His striking's really good. His submissions are good. His cardio is good. He takes it seriously. He's focused all the time. No bullshit outside of the cage. But he could be finishing a lot more fights. And I need that. I need that killer. Maybe UFC fights, I should say. I need that killer in him. I want him to go out there and be a killer. Easier said than done against Peyton Talbot, who got dog walked by Hani Barthelov. That's how you say his name, Hani Barthelov. Got dog walked by him. Didn't quit, didn't give up. Could have submitted, could have tapped out, could have done. Wasn't a good night for him. He's got to come out here. He's a very hype prospect, has good striking, has good kicks, very confident. His cardio is not bad either, but he got exposed in wrestling. He got exposed in the ground game. You can't fill that gap with that short amount of time. You just can't, right? And Lima's going to expose that. I think this will maybe be a closer fight than the Barcelos fight. I think Peyton Talbot is a very good prospect. I think he is learning and he's training hard and he's getting better. But I think this is a bad matchup for him right now. I think Lima is going to take him down, do what he wants to him on the ground. Peyton will probably get back to his feet, maybe stuff a few takedowns. But the striking Lima is more dangerous than Barcelos. And I think the wrestling is equally, if not as better. I don't see a finish happening here. Peyton Talbot is very tough. Mind is strong. He believes in himself, so I don't see him just giving up a rear naked choke and calling it a night. So I see a decision win by Lima. Let me chase that number for you because I kind of like that play. Lima by decision plus 110. So after this fight, Lima be a killer. Be that killer I know you got in you, an elite guy. And I like Lima big in this spot here, man. I like Lima big. Is that the main card? Is that first fight on the main card? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's first fight on the main card. We're on the main card, bitch. I was gonna do a whole main card announcement. I just blanked out. But Neil Dariush, minus 105 versus Renato Moicano, minus 115. He needs money. This fight is giving the most problems because I can see it go so many different ways. Moicano doesn't have the best chin, neither does Benny. Benny's been knocked out his last 2 fights. He's been knocked out several other times in his UFC career, but his last 2 has been by knockout. Moicano's been put down and knocked out as well. Moicano wants to get on top and be heavy and stick to you, and that's his job, and that's what he's very, very fucking good at. Benny's takedown defense is really good. His jiu-jitsu is very, very good. He's strong in those positions. So I'm so curious to see what Moicano wants to do because I think on the feet, I think Moicano is going to be the more engaging one. I think he's going to put more pressure. He's going to put more volume on a guy like Benny. Benny likes to throw one big right hand, some kicks or whatever. I don't know if Moicano has like game-changing power, but I don't know if you need game-changing power to overwhelm a guy like Benny and knock him out. So I'm going to go Moicano. I'm going to go minus 115. I think a KO happens early. Round 1 KO is a good play. Don't pick a side. Just pick round 1 KO. Pick the under. And then I think Moicano wins outside of that. I think Benny's best chance is to catch him early. And that's it. You know, Benny looks a lot older than he is. He's younger than me. He's got gray hair, all that stuff. By the way, I got teased at work today for having gray hair. I shaved my neck, my disgusting neck beard. You hear that? Apparently this is gray and I got gray on my sides. I can't fucking wait to go silver, right? My father-in-law, sorry, Ray, I'm going to put it on you here, bud. He's a bald man, right? He's got hair on the sides. He's very particular about the way my wife cuts his hair on the sides. He does just enough of the just for men. So there's a little gray, but it's not dyed. My wife's grandfather, rest in peace, Mel, who was a fantastic human being. Funny, great stories, played the harmonica. His wife, and I think he liked it too, but I assumed that was Erica's grandmother. But Erica's like, no, my grandpa wanted it. Dyed his hair jet black. He was 80-something when he passed. Jet black hair, the dark as night. I told my wife, if I go bald, we're shaving it. If I go gray, we ain't dyeing it. And I'm going gray a little bit. I'm 38 years old. I don't know if you can see on camera or whatever. There's some gray in there, and I can't wait. Have you ever seen? The one thing that's throwing me off though is I do have a baby face, so even though the gray hair will make me look a little older, I don't really have any wrinkles on my face, and I still look young. But the gray hair will obviously age me a little bit. But man, have you ever seen like an older guy with a head of hair, just silver hair? God, it looks good. It looks good. Now, if only I could grow a beard instead of that fucking neck beard, we'd be in business. But yeah, I have no problem going gray. Don't know how I got off topic. Oh yeah, Benny Dariush, he's all gray. Give me Moicano, right? Fuck it, right? One of these final 3 fights are insane. Brandon Royval, minus 102. Some places you can get him plus money versus Joshua Van, minus 118. So I was driving the Fan, man. I love Joshua Van. I've been on him for a while, right? Lost a lot of money on him on the Charles Johnson fight, whatever. I've since won the money back. Phenomenal boxer. He's 23. Taking the fights on 3 weeks short notice. 3 weeks notice against an elite guy in the division. He's fought for the title, and he's fought everybody. Not only is he elite, but he's he's unpredictable. He's finally dialed in his cardio. His scrambling is next to Pantoja the best. We haven't really seen Josh Van on the ground yet. Some people have taken him down, and he's popped right back up. But I want to see a guy like Royval really push him in the grappling, really go for the legs, jump on his back, see where the defense is at, because Royval can do that. He can do that for 5 rounds now. This is a 3-round fight, though. Royval, though, long, lankier guy for the division, so he can stay at his pace. Josh Van has shorter arms, but his boxing's so good that he knows distance so well. Might take him a half a round to figure that shit out, but when he's dialed in, dude, he's a problem. Like, he's really good. It hurts me not to pick Van, but Brandon Royval at this low money where I think he's an elite guy and Joshua Van is young, 23, his time will come. Give me Raw Dog, baby. Give me Raw Dog. I love Raw Dog at this price here. I think it's going to be an absolute fucking scrap. I have written down here either sub or decision. I don't know. I mean, I think Van could obviously knock him out, but Royval's got some whiskers on him. I like Royval by decision. I'm playing it safe, but what is him by sub? That might change my fucking tune. What is Royval by sub? Brandon Royval by submission plus 700. That's my card. Woo, 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 woo. Ears are smoking. Plus 700 for submission. Yeah, got it. Add it. Do one of these. I didn't really write anything. Really good though, right? You thought I wrote something? I didn't. All right, co-main event. Alexander Pantoja, minus 245 versus Kai Kara-France, plus 200. I like Kai Kara-France. I like Pantoja. I think Pantoja is severely underrated. For 125 gets overlooked a lot. Guy's a stud, right? And Kai Kara-France has looked good in his last few fights, but there's not enough there, right? But they need a contender. Kai looks super motivated, super ready to go. His takedown defense has only gotten better, which I think he needs, but Pantoja mixes striking with takedowns very good. Probably better than anyone at 125. I also think Kai Kara's low volume is going to be the problem here. He got exposed to body kicks against Moreno. When the tempo in the Moreno fight picked up, Kai looked a little slower. That, obviously, I think he's probably learned from. I like Pantoja. I like him still. I can't get to the Kai side. I like Kai Kara-France. I want him to fight Manel Kape, but I think Manel Kape might be next in this division if he ever stays fucking healthy. 200 on Kai Kara-France isn't bad. I highlighted here. I underlined the number. I think that's a good number for a guy who does have some power, who has some good elite takedown ability. The problem is, or takedown defense ability. The problem is Pantoja is really good on the feet too. A little bit wild, but if it gets to the ground, he's just going to smother Kai. I like Pantoja by sub. I only have sub written down here. I think he can sub Kai Kara-France, take his back, and just be a nightmare for him. Pantoja by submissions plus 225. I love it. I fucking love it. Plus 225. That's a better number than I thought. I think if he gets Kai down, it's going to be a lot of work to get Kai down. You got to work in your kicks, really touch that body. He's been exposed to the body before. Really work your kicks, really pressure. And then once that takedown lands, take your time, stay heavy, lock something up. Rear naked, darce, arm triangle. Those are kind of what guys get submitted by. You don't see as many arm bars anymore. But my prediction is, in a few fucking years, leg locks. I mean, I know leg locks in MMA, you get your face exposed. But if you watch grappling, which by the way, UFC BJJ's on tonight. I watched the entire road to the whatever, Mikey Musesi and all those guys. Awesome show, right? I love watching grappling. Most of those guys are just leg locks, right? It's just leg locks, and they haven't came to MMA yet because they haven't found a way to do it quick enough without you getting elbowed in the goddamn head. But it's coming. But arm bars are kind of, triangles, and unless you're tired and not very good. So I like a rear naked in this fight. I like Pantoja and still. All right, main event. Excited. Woo! Topuria minus 440 versus Charles Oliveira plus 340. Charles Oliveira is an incredible fighter. He's been through everything. He's fought everyone. He's done everything in the octagon, from getting knocked out to knocking people out, to submitting people, to getting submitted, to quitting a fight, to having people quit on him, to getting injured on he's been through it all, right? Mentally, he's as strong, I think, as he's ever been. And you got Topuria, this smaller guy. He took a picture of Kai Kara France, and he didn't look that much bigger than Kai Kara France, fights at 125. Then we saw the picture with Rojas Jr. Finally, a little dwarf. Now 135er and Rojas Jr. He has to be just dense, right? I said this in the Annika Florian, but I can't stop thinking about it. He just has to be dense, dude. To come up to 50. He says he's going to weigh 174 fight night. I just, he doesn't, not that big of a guy, but I do like him at 55. We saw him against Jai Herbert. I like the fact that he's not killed himself in the weight cuts. Apparently 145 was a problem. Oliveira obviously is a big 55er. He's really filled out his frame, longer guy. He has a little bit more trouble with the weight cut. So hopefully everything goes right, because I think Tasharian, Arman Tasharian is the backup, which I wouldn't mind, but I want this fight. With that being said, I hate to be just everyone's giving this pick out, but man, I think Topuria wins. I think he wins by knockout. I think he might win by knockout round 1 and round 2. Topuria's boxing is some of the best I've ever seen. The distance management, the choices he makes to go to the body, back to the head. Defensively, he's responsible with the hands. Kenny brought it up on the show, and I kind of reiterate the same point. He's not super defensive when it comes to kicks. He's been put down by Jai Herbert. He's been put down outside the UFC with kicks. I think you can find his chin at times, but defensively in his boxing range with just hands, he's very, very sound. He sees a lot of things coming. He's patient. And he knows that if he touches you, it's over, right? He knows that. He lost the first round to Volk, right? He knew, like, Volk's moving around a lot, throwing a lot of jabs, whatever, and he just, I'm buying my time. I'm coming, right? I'm getting reads or whatever. In the Max Holloway fight, very competitive those first 2 rounds. His brother's like, hey, you can knock him out. Goes out and knocks Max Holloway, which no one fucking does. The boxing's phenomenal. The confidence is off the charts. His grappling is very good as well. Wouldn't be surprised if he submits Charles Oliveira. I can see him dropping Charles, and apparently he's been bragging about how he's got this killer Darce, right? Drops down, fucking Darces him, right? There's a lot of possibility here for Topuria. I would be, you know what? I'm not, because I think Topuria is a superstar. I was just going to say, I think I would be happy if Oliveira won, because I like Charles Oliveira. I think the guy's awesome, right? I should dye my hair for the fight, just in honor and respect, 'cause I'm picking against them. But I'm not going to do that, because I think Topuria is a fucking star. I don't know how he fights at 170. He looks very small. 155 should be his place. Defend that a couple of times. Maybe Islam, when he fights Jack Malena, if he wins the 170, let him come back down. That's the dream fight. So I'm rooting for Topuria just because I think of the star power. But again, how can you root against a guy like Charles Oliveira? The guy's the fucking man. He's done everything. I love him. But Topuria is a special dude. He's special, man. And I love the confidence. And yeah, I think he's going to look real goddamn good. And hopefully it's a competitive fight. If not, maybe we'll just see some greatness on Saturday. All right. That's it. That's the show. That's a long one. So let me get my locks. Mortal lock.
It's a mortal lock, and I'm gonna wheel him.
Ilia Topuria. How can I go against him? I know he's high. I feel so shitty giving you that, but I'm so confident in this young man. I'm almost as confident as he is in himself as I am in him. You know what I mean? That's how fucking confident I am. So give me Ilya for mortal. You know what? I'm going to play this for my guy Timbo.
Be a dog. We don't need no meows. We don't need no cats.
Be a dogs. Jack Hermanson. I just see him decisioning Gregory Rodriguez or getting knocked out, right? But that's plus 170. I love the number. I could have went with Hyder. I could have went with, if you're flirting with Brandon Royval at that little plus money, you could have went with him. But I wanted to go the big number. I went Jack Hermanson. That is my dog lock. My send him home is Janitz.
Send him home early.
I just think he, Alvin Hines is going to have maybe a good first round. Plus 3.5 on Alvin Hines might be a good number for you. I just think Janitz will take over and knock him out. I can't believe I'm putting money on Janitz because I'm not high on him, but I'm doing it, right? Look at me. I'm changing. I'm evolving as a human. I fucking love that. All right. So the green hammer I gave you was round 1 submission. Terrence McKinney plus 380. Now you're probably wondering, BP, you didn't give us a slime ball. You didn't give us the parlay. What's going on, man? Parlay's coming on 3PC. You want the parlay, you sign up on 3punchconvo.com. First 200, get it for a year free. After that, it's $5. Okay? You sign up. You go to the MMA Takes podcast companion, and you're going to have not a recap of all my bets, but you're going to have the 3PC 3-leg parlay. Let me say that again because it wasn't clean the first time. Take 2. The 3PC 3-leg parlay. And I might throw you the slime in there as well. I might do 2. I might do 3. I don't know. Go to 3punchconvo.com. Sign up right now. Tell them BP sent you. And God damn it, you get a year for free. If not, $4.99 after that. It's going to be worth it. I promise you, boys. I promise you. All my exclusives, all my giveaways that I've been teasing, that I've been promising are going to happen there. So if you want to be a part of that, I love the engagement on my socials. I love the engagement on the YouTube videos. But if you want any part of that, 3punchconvo.com. You heard the brothers in the beginning. You see who I'm dealing with. Kenny Florian's in. Other people are in that I can't talk about, but God damn it, we're in. Right? 3PC, the real ones. I love you guys. Let's go sign up. Let's have an international fight week, goddammit. And woo, let's do it.